Wizard is never late. He receives the best when he meets to. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's the line.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was going for.
Perfect.
And then later on, he tells Frodo, I was delayed. It's like, wait a minute. Hang on.
Hang on. Rewind.
The funny part about that is we know the reason he was delayed now. Because he was, well, we've known it for a long time if you read the books, but he was with Strider hunting Gollum. And that's how that just got away with it, just by saying, I was delayed.
Right.
Like no shit, you were delayed, dude.
I had to walk to the mountain.
No, well,
sure
in the
could have
movies,
used a wizard somewhere along the way.
Both ways.
In the movies, they port. In the movies, they portray it as like being a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
It's months.
No, it's months.
He's months before
significantly delayed.
Like they thought he was dead. They sent little Hobbit search parties out looking for him. Just right
if your Amazon package was as delayed as Gandalf, you would be furious.
Yes, you'd be canceling it. And the little Hobbit feet, they didn't go any far past the border of Hobbiton. Like that was it. No. They're like, no, can't find him. We're out.
Nope, I don't see him. He's gone.
Oh gosh, that's awesome. Gosh, that's good. All right, well, everybody, welcome. This is LoreForged, the podcast for Ashes of Creation. We think this is episode 81, and we
81.
are 81, and we are your hosts. My name's Jibs, and I'm joined by Sonny.
Hi, I can no longer eat beef jerky. Can't. I'm done. I'm done with beef jerky.
What happened?
I'm making a life decision here.
Okay.
The last 12 consecutive times that I've eaten beef jerky gets stuck exactly in the back, between the back two molars.
Do shredded.
Hurts. It hurts. I can't do it. I am done with beef jerky. I've now given up all the good things in life. I've given up beef jerky. I've given up peanut butter.
Whiskey.
Okay, those are the only two things I can think of off the top of my head, but there's other things too that I've given up.
Yeah, your man card is the next one.
Sonny, do the shredded version. Remember when you were a kid and you do the shredded beef jerky and you put it in your lip and make you feel like you're...
It was like chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
But it was beef jerky.
Yeah.
Do you have that in California, Cash? Like a bag of chewing tobacco beef jerky?
No, but we have chewing tobacco and it's great.
That's his vice.
Are you still chewing tobacco? I know this is a big thing for firefighters. Like they all have done it at some point in their lives. But are you still doing it? Oh, he's got the Zen. That's like the vape stick of firefighters.
I have tried. I chewed chewing tobacco for years, and I finally quit. And then I started smoking cigars I wouldn't even say heavily, like a few cigars a week. And then I went to Zen, and now I can't stop. Yeah, it's so bad.
It's a problem.
I can always tell when he puts it in his mouth.
It's only nicotine. It's only nicotine, so it's not as bad as all the crap that's in tobacco.
It's a straight nicotine delivery system, though.
Oh, it is, and when it says on the can that it's addictive. Yeah, they're not effing around.
Turns out they were right.
Anyway.
Oh, well, you heard him. Cash is here.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
I am here.
Oh, good.
Yep. Check this out. So I showed this to Sonny and his wife last week. This was my thrift store find.
The Kelly fan club.
Who's Kelly?
The Kelly fan club. We have no idea who Kelly is, but I found this shit.
That's her.
So one of the things I love doing is I love going to thrift stores looking for gaming shirts. And every once in a while I'll find one, but I will find random shirts and just buy them. I just like random shirts. And I found this one and I thought it was funny because it said the Kelly fan club and Kelly is Sonny's wife. So I thought it'd be funny to have a wife that says, or a shirt that says I'm a fan of his wife. So
the picture is hilarious though. It's like I don't know how to explain this, but that woman, whoever she is definitely an attorney.
She's definitely from California. I can definitely say that. She's got the short hair, and she's got, if you look real close, she's got the ear bolt, like a big old ear bolt. I'm like, yeah, you're definitely from California.
She is a divorce attorney in California. No doubt.
According to Google, it's the Kelly Clarkson fan club.
That's not Kelly
which
Clarkson.
You can visit her website at kellyclarkson.com.
That is not Kelly Clarkson.
No.
Maybe it's her D&D character.
Other than that, I'm good. So just real quick point of reference. My time in my administrative position is coming to an end, gentlemen.
Thank God.
And a choir descends.
Hang on, I got you.
I have one.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm only here for one more week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm done. As of the release of this show, I will be 4 more days, and then I will be. I'll be back in the firehouse, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to a slow fire station, so I'm excited.
Yay!
That's what's going on in my world.
Yep. How many calls is a slow fire station for you?
Ooh, this one depends on summer or winter. Wintertime, probably 2 to 3 a day. Summertime, probably 5 to 10 a day.
Nice.
Yeah. It's busy in the summer. We're right. I will be able to take a whiz and look to my right and see the beach. It's right across the street. So it's
yeah, that's awesome.
pretty cool. It's a pretty cool firehouse.
Yeah,
so looking forward to it.
Did we fly over it when I was in the helicopter with you? I feel like we did. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. I think I know exactly what one that is then. Nice. Awesome. Oh, well, welcome, folks. Thanks so much for pushing play. It's good to be back. I missed you guys last week. It was a funny episode. You guys did a really good job, particularly with the owl and motioning of the arms, Sonny. And
that was a one-time thing. I can't do that
Swedish pump. That was, both of those things were electrifying in that episode.
Swedish.
Swedish made penis pump.
Yeah, our patrons got a extended edition of that one. Anyway,
good times.
Oh yeah, so this week on the show we are talking PTR, which is kind of now void a little bit for us. But we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then also we're talking a major patch that came out today. We are an hour and like, I don't know, 2.5 hours into a major patch that's been released for Ashes of Creation. We're talking Naval and the PTR, of course, now on the A2 servers, and our very, very early impressions of Rogue. But gentlemen, this was a big release today. Big.
Both in like size and content. Like it was a significant download for a lot of people. How many gigs was that? It was.
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
It was pretty big.
Was it? I feel like it was formidable because it took even me quite some time.
Yeah. 18. It was 18 gigs.
Well, yeah, and here's the highlights. You know, like, and we're going to expound on all this, but you have the Rogue archetype is now available, daggers, Turquoise Sea expanded, naval system, node siege system updates, node relic system. That's a new thing. You've also got.
We don't even know what that is. None of us know what that is.
Oh, it tells you.
Oh yeah,
freeholds.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
And Ranger archetypes, and then they did a deconstruction. I believe that's been added as well. It's in the notes, but yeah. So there is a massive amount of notes.
I missed the deconstruction. I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah, I'll look it up
because deconstruction kits.
Yeah, so they're now available to players.
Possible salvage results.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's the first
which is being speculated to be the new way to level up arcane engineering.
That's going to be interesting.
I really think that, like, somebody suggested that a while ago, that like, hey, you know, there's got to be a better way to deal with all this junk. Can I just deconstruct it? Can I break it down? That's a very common thing in MMOs, and I think that there's a reason for it. Like, it's just useful, right? And it sucks to have to vendor all of the stuff when you know that the possibility of deconstructing things should exist, and so that's a good change. But man, where do you even want to start, JB?
I don't know. You want to start off the top? What do you guys think? I mean,
I think
Why
why don't each of us do a little highlights, like the things that they found interesting in what they're, because we're not going to read the whole patch notes here, right? Like
No.
it would be silly to do that. So
What? I was going to read the patch notes in Macho Man Randy Savage.
New archetype now available. Oh, yeah.
The dual wield. Okay.
4 hours later.
Cream of the crop rises. Oh man, that's gonna mess my vocal out again.
I'll get started.
Yeah, take
Do
it
you want to
there.
do some highlights from you?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
get it
yeah.
started. You guys know me. I'm usually I'll just hit the bullet points real
yeah.
See you
quick.
guys in
Pretty
30
brief.
minutes.
Brevity, your thing.
Okay. There were a few things that stood out to me. I guess the low hanging fruit, which I won't even hit, but I'll just hit it anyway, is the dual wield, the rogue.
Oh yeah.
The turquoise sea got expanded massively. By the way, they put a thing. I didn't even know this was a thing, but they put in a naval system.
Yeah. What
You guys
is
heard
a
of this?
naval? What is a naval?
Is it like your belly button navel?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah,
customize
yes.
it, do like
Oh.
tattoos?
It
Or
is
maybe
the
like a
tropics.
Cash is a tattooed
digestive
naval
thing?
guy.
Oh yeah.
We typically go
one.
go shirtless in the
Maui.
tropics.
It's got
so-
Maui from Moana holding his navel.
That's a cash choice right there.
held my what? Yeah. So we typically are excited about big systems, and this naval system is definitely one to be excited about. Node sieges are going to be now in the game. We were talking about relics, which we're going to dive into relics here, I think, at some point. There's freeholds. I think one of the biggest things for me to hit is the Ranger archetype changes, and we can talk about those a little bit more in depth as we get down these notes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like those are the biggest things that stood out to me. I haven't had a chance to do a ton of exploration because all this stuff came out on PTR on what was it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
No.
and some people work, so
Yeah.
I could not like dive in as much as I wanted to. I did. Jibs and I rolled a rogue. We ran around for a little while, stabbing each other a little bit, and we sailed the ship. We didn't quite get out of the harbor because what happened, Jibs? We were like right at the mouth of the harbor, and what did I do?
Yeah. Cash saw this. So it has those potion turrets, which legitimately look like gumballs inside of a gumball machine that's mounted to a turret that's gold. And by the way, Cash and I are both now in the PTR, so we were testing this stuff. So that said, sorry, Sonny, but we were trying to get out of the harbor. I know. We were trying to get out of the harbor, and there's a random, it looks like a gumball machine, but it's the turret sticking out of the water like it's a watery grave, and Cash runs over and pushes X, and then his character's stuck. I proceed to run over and push X to see if I could help, find a way out of said thing. I got stuck, and so as far as I know, both our characters are still stuck eternally to this turret.
I legit thought it was a buoy. I was like, what is that? Is that, I at first thought it was the very top of a mast. I was like, is that a sunken ship?
Yeah.
So I jumped in the water hoping to see a sunken ship right there.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. So I was like, okay, so I swam toward it and I jumped on top of it thinking like, oh, this is a buoy, dude. And it had the little dot that you could interact with.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit F and interacted with it. And then I was stuck on this cannon. It was a freaking cannon, just a random cannon out in the middle of the freaking sea. And I'm like stuck on this cannon and I can't fire it. I can't do anything. I was like stuck. I couldn't unstuck. Even like log out, log in, I was stuck. So it's like, well, I guess I'm rolling a new tune.
Oh my God, you had to roll a whole new tune?
No, I think that was right at the end of the night. And I was getting ready to go to bed, and Jibs had already turned into a pumpkin because it's 3 hours ahead for him. So that was the end of our PTR playtest. But we got to dive in a little bit. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the show notes here.
looks
We are
good.
never getting through this. Like the number of big things that happened in this last week is just
Yeah.
astronomical, right? Like
Yeah.
you guys want to talk about the PTR. You were in the PTR. We could talk about that for a whole show. This patch alone, you could talk about for a whole show.
That's true. Let's talk
and then,
Rogue.
Like naval, rogue. Like, what are we doing?
Let's talk rogue.
So much.
Rogue is the heavy hitter.
I want to say one thing before we go on, because I have to say this about the patch notes. Vindrak tested this for me right before the show started. They have put in a search function into the marketplace, and it actually works. I know that like this does not make a marketplace alone. Like there are a lot of other things that they could have added, but they fixed this one little tiny thing and it makes me so happy. So now if you want to find only the places that actually have copper, then you can search by typing in copper, and you can pick the rarity or any rarity, and it will filter down to only the shops that actually have copper. Praise be.
It's one example. It's one example of many in these patch notes of how Intrepid is listening to their players. They're listening to the things that we're saying.
Okay, that's all. Like as far as the patch notes go, like a lot of the stuff that was in the patch notes was in the PTR that you guys were testing, and one of the big things was Rogue. So let's talk Rogue, JB.
Yeah, these patch notes, real quick. These patch notes are huge. Like that says something to the speed and, my goodness, just efficiency of this team, because I don't recall patch notes anywhere I have to keep scrolling. Like I just keep scrolling, keep going.
And they're not putting little things in there either, right? Like they're like, we changed this whole system. Just one line. Right? Like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, every single system here, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're looking at 9 episodes for this show right here. And you could just break this thing up. There's so much to every bullet point.
Look at this one bullet point. Rogue archetype is now available. That's it. That's the only thing they say about rogues. And you're still scrolling through the patch notes, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, did anyone notice that they released the rogue here?
Yeah.
It's one line in the patch notes.
Yeah, it's formidable. They put, and it's pretty exciting too, because so many people, since they started this Kickstarter, I want to say it was 2017, right? But the moment since they started that Kickstarter, so many people have wanted to play the rogue. And, in addition to these patch notes, they also put out an official release on their website over at AshesOfCreation.com that people can go chew on for the rogue. They really gave it special treatment, and it's out now, and there are rogues, there's daggers flying everywhere, and we got a little bit of a taste of it on the PTR, and I'm glad we did, because we're able to play max level rogues and kind of get a feel for what that's like. And even now, starting rogues, I got mine to level 5 today. Guys, like, this is a big release. This is next to probably the biggest release for this game. I would say the number one is probably going to be Summoner. It seems like everyone's all about that, and they have been for months and months and years now. But the Rogue, it is finally out. What are your guys' first impressions? I know it's very early, very, very early.
I feel like I should ask you guys first impressions, since I've played the Rogue for approximately 8 minutes. Can
I tell that story? I'm telling that story. Sonny rolls his rogue. He rolls his rogue. And then I pop in for our pre-show when we do our sound checks and such. And he goes, "Hey, Cash, do you think they're going to wipe this build?" And I was like, "Yeah, eventually. Yeah, probably. Maybe with phase 3, they'll wipe it." And he said, "Do you think that's good that they're going to wipe it, because my character has a side ponytail that I just can't stand?" And I was like, "What?"
I love that that's such a high priority for you.
MMO players are very concerned about their characters, like when you roll a character, it's very important to you. And I'm walking around, I meet the guy with the blocks. "You have the blocks." He doesn't say that anymore, but like he'll always say that in our minds, right? And so like I just can't get over the side. I'm gonna have to re-roll the character. Now, thankfully, I'm only level 0. So it's not going to be like I've lost a lot here. I was going to play it earlier today. I was going to stream like creating the rogue and doing this whole thing. And then, like in the least surprising thing of all time, it got delayed by about 5 hours. So that was a bummer, but it's here now. And so I'll test it as soon as I roll a new character with a better hairstyle. This is what happens when I try to create a character without Kelly here. Like I tried to branch out on my own, and unhappiness ensued. So
You really did just kind of fire that off the hip.
I know
You went
I had to
rogue,
try
one
before
might
the
say.
show. I went rogue right before the show started. So all right, so JB, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You've played an awful lot of video games.
Yep.
You occasionally, I would say more than even like your average person, will play a rogue. It's not always your main, but you have got plenty of experience playing rogue style characters, whether or not that's in SWTOR, like your smuggler types characters, or in Warcraft, just a straight rogue. Given that you were able to play a fully leveled rogue, do you feel like Ashes is giving the rogue players what they want in this game?
Oh yeah. So okay. So I'm trying to think how I want to put this out there. At the very this rendition of Rogue is absolutely a Warcraft rogue that's a love letter to D&D that also finds a way to make you feel like Batman. All in one archetype. It's incredibly mobile. You have so many opportunities for escapes, and those are some of the things we can talk about, like further along in the kit with the grappling hook combined with, I believe it's called, it's not feint, but basically you do a backflip, just like the Ranger, just different, slightly different.
I think that's feint.
Is that feint? Okay.
I think that's feint.
Yeah. So like overall like that, it's so mobile, and it really, gosh, you have the advantage mechanic, you know, so yeah, they did a great job on this, and it really feels like it's their own style of rogue, but it also feels very much influenced by World of Warcraft and D&D, without a doubt.
Cash, how different does the rogue feel from other games rogues? Like what's different about this? What is the spin that Ashes has put on this that's different?
Okay, I'm going to echo a little bit of what Jib said about it, because I think it feels very rogue. If you've played other games or other MMOs, then it's going to feel very familiar to you. And the reason I say that is because he's right. Like there's a lot of skills that are very reminiscent, if not the same, as World of Warcraft's skills. I have a point to that, but you look at like things like backstab. Backstab is WoW. Kick, also in World of Warcraft. Poison, also in World of Warcraft. It's a little different execution on their poison, but it's kind of the same thing. You're basically dipping your weapons in poison. Shadow Step, for sure, it's a World of Warcraft spec. Shuriken is most definitely World of Warcraft, but I think the thing to remember is that two things. One, World of Warcraft's rogue has classic skills. So they wanted to give a classic feel for the rogue, and they pulled that off. The second thing is WoW's rogue is really fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
So why not use what works? So in those ways, in that realm, the rogue feels very comfortable, very approachable, and very familiar to play.
Oh yeah.
For other players who played MMOs. Where that's going to differ is in the things that you are going to be able to do with your rogue.
Oh yeah.
And I'm specifically talking about the augment system. That is where every archetype, no matter what you choose, and no matter how iconic that archetype is, you are going to be able to put it into a gameplay style that fits you. And that's where the uniqueness of not just the rogue, every character that you can roll in Ashes of Creation will show up. You have 1 billion variations. Well, you have 64 variations that you can
1 million
spec your character into to be different. And if you add on top of that the ability to change your weapons, that's where the unique nature of rogue is going to come in. Because you got different weapons, different augments. That's where the customization comes in.
So, but that's just generally Ashes of Creation, right? Like, and also we don't actually have any experience with the augment system, so we're speculating a little bit on that.
Yeah, we kind of know how it's going to work, but we just don't know the specifics of it.
Oh, true, but I think that the bigger thing is we don't know the feel of the impact of it. You know, like how much is this going to feel different? But it is a fair point, right? Like when asking like what makes this rogue different, and the answer is like the augment system, right? Like you get to do what you want with the rogue. That's a fair point. You didn't actually get to test that though, did you, JB?
The augment system?
Yeah, like
No,
you weren't able
no.
to put any augments on your rogue, right?
No, not at all. But I really went heavy on the tool side of things, like the toolkit, and so like the grappling hook, combine that with, and Cash mentioned poison, so poisons are different in Ash as opposed to Warcraft. So in WoW, you apply your poison that stays on. In Ashes of Creation, it is a skill. It's treated like a skill that lasts for 10 seconds in its current state right now. So if I want to apply a chill poison, you apply it like an ability, and so you would use that almost as part of your opener rotation for what you're doing in Ashes of Creation right now.
So it's like before the fight, you just real quick dump some stuff on your blade, knowing that this stuff will evaporate.
Yeah, and then
and not be around.
Yeah, and from my limited testing experience on it, you can only pick one poison that I saw. Now I don't know if you can pick more.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I'm gonna keep looking into that. But yeah, another quick tip I want to add about it is the grappling hook is on a 10-second cooldown timer right now, and you can use that thing. You can put it anywhere you want that I've seen. I've thrown it on the ground. I've thrown it on top of the roof. So if I'm fighting a mob, because stealth, the way the stealth mechanic works in this game, you cannot stealth up if you're within X amount of feet or whatever it is towards a mob.
20 meters.
20 meters.
20 meters.
So what you do, Sonny, if you need to get it easy out, if you're fighting something, you know as much as I do, the rogue is an opportunist. Maybe it's not going your way. You need an out. So what you do, you throw down your grappling hook on the ground, somewhere far away. It pulls you, and then what you can also do is do a feint, which is like your backflip, which gets you further away, and then you can stealth. So in the very least, my point is with the grappling hook, every 10 seconds, you've got a jail out of free card, which is really, really unique. Not to mention the smoke bombs and the caltrops, which I know we're going to be talking about, but like, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, the caltrops.
Yeah, buddy.
Let me ask you this, Cash, because I think that this is an important question for people that haven't been able to experience the full level rogue. How does stealth feel?
Stealth feels weird. I am going to throw that out there. And the reason being is because it's a 20 meter, you can only use it within 20 meters of enemies. Now you do gain an advantage when you do that, but it looks like it only lasts a minute. So there's a countdown on that. And I don't know, like I haven't looked at it. Maybe the chat knows. I don't know if that countdown takes you out of stealth when it goes up, or if that is just the cooldown for using stealth again. So it does feel a little weird, especially from somebody who's used to using permanent stealth in games like World of Warcraft. But at least it's not the stealth of like ESO, which I hated. I'm more like games that have the permanent stealth ability. So anyway, it's weird having to get 20 meters away from a mob before you can do it.
You're able to do it.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm kind of torn because I don't like that, but at the same time, it makes sense. If you're within 20 meters of something, it's probably going to root you out. So
you can get within 20 meters, right? Like you can only turn it on when you're outside, but you can get closer, or can you not?
You can't. Sorry,
like you have to be able to, because you got to be able to use your advantage to stab a guy.
Yeah, but you can't. Okay, so the tooltip literally says fade into the shadows, becoming invisible, only usable when 20 meters away from enemies.
So that's to turn it on. Is what
to turn it
saying.
on.
So to turn it on, you have to be out there. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense, right? Like if you're having coffee and talking to a guy, and all of a sudden he's like stealth.
I know. you just like slam up against the wall in your trench coat.
Right? It's like, Gary, Like it doesn't work. Like Gary, you got to be 20 meters away before I stop seeing you.
Yeah, I think there should be some variation of that though. So like with the smoke bomb in the game, it's not like your normal smoke bomb. Like when you throw that thing down, Sonny, you can't see through it at all. Like no one can see through this thing. You can't see through it. The enemy can't see through it. And when you're in there, you get a bonus to your evasion. I believe it's 25%. So here's my thought. Like,
so what do? You just like run around,
swing like crazy, Sonny. Swing that dagger.
Stab, dude.
But here's my thing. Like, if you're going to be throwing that down at that, I think if you're, that's exactly what it is.
Are you playing the drums?
That's exactly what it looks like, Sonny. Dude, that's exactly.
I get him.
Oh, that's so true. I think, though, honestly, in your smoke bomb, you should be able to stealth. You throw down the smoke, no one can see in. You can't see anywhere. That's when you should be able to use your stealth, regardless of how many feet you are.
For sure.
Yep,
100% agree with that.
Point. Very good point. Yep. And I mean, even if they were to do a longer cooldown on smoke bomb, it almost acts as a vanish.
Yeah.
Like in Warcraft, right? Because you can hit vanish and you're out of combat and you stealth out.
Yeah.
So if you were to throw that smoke bomb and then stealth, that makes a lot of sense. But would that be too OP?
No.
Would that be OP?
I don't think so.
No, you got to burn 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like, but like at the same time, if you're saying that you can't see anything like in there anyways, like this makes a ton of sense. You burn the smoke bomb, you do the stealth, and then you can get away. It's like an ultimate, like, as what did JB say? Jail out of free card.
Get out of jail free card.
Said earlier.
Oh, I'm gonna have to add that.
No,
hey,
there's no secondhand editions. There's no secondhand editions.
You thought we were just gonna let that go, huh?
I honestly don't even recall saying it like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's usually a good
like,
indicator.
This is a good note. This is a good note for like for the developers, right? Like we should have somebody submit this. When you drop the stealth, when you drop the smoke bomb, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to stealth at that point from a logic standpoint. That makes a ton of sense to me. I like that.
Forum feedback. For sure.
Feedback.
Absolutely. And it's honestly, it feels a whole lot like a ninja. Like I made the joke about Batman earlier, but really like the idea of having the special tools for the job is really cool. Combine the smoke bomb with the caltrops, Cash. When you put out those caltrops, it's so satisfying.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're going to talk about caltrops. I have never seen a better rendition of caltrops in any game.
Like visually or
visually,
like mechanically
and audibly.
It is absolutely stunning what the caltrops do. Now, how he carries all those in his pocket is kind of like how the Ranger carries the freaking Volkswagen of a freaking trap he throws out, of a bear trap he throws out. Like, where were you carrying that, dude? But the caltrops animation works very similarly to a Ranger's vines, where you get a wide area that goes pretty damn far, and you toss that thing out, and when you're close to it, just be close to it and look at the animation, you guys. It is so lights out gorgeous for a caltrop animation for a rogue. Like that one, and there's several skills that they nailed, but if you ask me, that is the number one skill that they nailed was caltrops. It is badass.
It's awesome.
I'm excited about this. You guys are getting me very excited about this. This is going to be cool.
The cool thing about
your class, bro.
Oh, dude, Sonny, the great thing about the Rogue, truthfully, I can say now after we've played it at max level and played it at the beginning, is the level of progression, you're going to feel it. Because by the time you get to 25, you are like an acrobat of death. Like you're just flipping and flying all over the place. You're getting out of dodge when you need to. It's fun. It's very fun.
Very cool. Very cool. That was the thing that I didn't love about the mage, was that I wanted to play the mage like a rogue, and that's just not how you do it. And so I would end up just more or less standing there, just winging spells and not really moving. And it was kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. And I
daggers feel good too.
It remains to be seen whether or not it'll be my main, but like it's
Sonny, this is
a betting man would put money on this.
Dude, the toolkit the toolkit is something that you're going to like. Like Jibs was saying, there's a lot of escapes, and one of those being the grappling hook. Man, when you grapple away from something and then watch the mob just go, yeah, he's too far, I'm out. And the mob goes away. I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Dude. Yeah. And the way he grapples is like he grabs and just yanks. The animations are really, really good. And the utility of the class as a whole is very good. And like, I'm really interested to see what Vladis thinks about this, because Vladis hates too many utility abilities. And he talked about it on a show like probably a year ago. We talked about it with him. And this class is definitely one for
just loaded.
It's loaded with utility. Now, I'm very interested to see what the damage potential of this class is at top level with top gear. Because there's very much the possibility of this class being insanely OP.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
At least in its current state, right?
I mean, like that's usually what happens when new classes come out, right? In MMOs that we've played, when they come out with a new class, it feels like more often than not that new class everyone says is OP. And some of it is true. Some of them really are OP, and then other ones are just OP because you don't know how to defend them, right? They're new, and so you don't know, and so this new person is winging all this stuff at you, and if it hits you, you're like, oh, that's OP, I shouldn't be hit, you know. And
that's me.
Yeah.
100%, that's me.
So this is all new, and everyone's all excited about it, so of course they're gonna say like, oh, it's OP. But again, like we're in such a level of testing that it's hard to determine what's OP and what's not. And then even if it is, like, they're just gonna adjust it. And then even if it is in like a 1v1 fight, they've told us time and time again, like, we don't balance the game that way. Yeah. We're balancing the game off of systems that we're not really using right now, right?
Yeah, like, group systems. The game is balanced off of the group.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's not a ton of that going on, right? Like, it's
it's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while is a great way of putting it. Like, we're not there yet. So like, chill out with the rogue is OP, nerf rogues thing already.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Not even close. Yeah. I mean, another addition was the dual wielding. I mean, like, this is the first time we're stepping into dual wielding for the first time in this game. And it's what you guys think. Like, I know you had 8 minutes, Sonny. Did you get to move the daggers around a little bit?
I like the animation of it and I like the feel of it, but honestly, like, I'm like so early that I didn't really get to have a good feel of it. I will say this, that Cash brought up earlier about the animation of the caltrops. Like, this game on the whole is just very good with the animations. The animations for the characters are very good. And so if you guys are telling me that you love the rogue animations, like, I am not surprised. The mage animations, but I don't know how many times I dropped that freaking lightning hammer down, and it is satisfying every single time. So I'm sure that there's a few things with the rogue that just are exceptionally satisfying to throw out.
Yeah, and for me, it's a really good opportunity for me to get my eyes on the rogue, because, as you know, I've been bouncing back and forth between Ranger, and Ranger Rogue. So this could, or possibly Rogue Ranger. Like, this is a very big deal for me to see, and I want to play it, and hopefully sometime within like the next half a year or so, we'll be able to see some augments. And I know there are some augments coming out for a couple of classes, right?
Yeah, the tank and cleric. Yeah. So it'll be really good to see that, because if we're able to see it at least on a couple of classes, we're going to be able to see how they work and how in depth they go.
That's a big deal.
Well, for mine,
it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal.
That's giant for them to be unloading some of those augment things for people to actually see. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ranger had some major updates. And I saw that they got a brand new, what is it? A resource? Yeah, archetype resource.
Ranger, yeah. Let me switch to my notes, because I have some pretty detailed notes, and I promise I won't go. I'll go through 98% of them.
That's okay. We are not getting to naval today.
No, this is like this is a part one of this episode, I think.
Yeah. Trust me, we're going to talk about naval, and if it takes you to take a frickin' Xanax in order to get there, then take whatever you need to take. We're doing it today. Okay. Let's talk about some of the Ranger changes, which I'm very excited about. And folks, I want to put a huge shout out to Vladis for having myself and Flanker and Is There No One Else on his show to talk about Ranger. Flanker put out a recent video on the changes to Ranger, and it's really good. He doesn't go into too much depth. He's really good about giving the facts and his opinion about the changes, but not making the video like, too long. So Flanker has a fantastic video on this, but in a nutshell, some of the biggest things for Ranger is there is a new resource for the Ranger called Focus. And the Ranger, or this resource starts and caps at 100. And so it will always be at 100. And then you like chunk it down as you use your abilities, and your abilities will deal up to 15% more damage, depending on how much focus is stored when the damage occurs. And you'll consume a proportional amount of focus after the hit. 3 focus regenerates every second, and the weapon combo finishers will restore 10 focus.
My goodness.
So it's super interesting. And it's a reason why I have a huge split right down my time right now, because I want to dive into the Ranger so bad, but at the same time, I want to play this damn rogue. So I got my work cut out for me here this weekend, but a couple new things, just some, I'll just like glaze over some of this stuff here real quick. There's a new Ranger ability, and that new Ranger ability is called Salvo, and this replaces Barrage as the Ranger's starting ability, which is a big deal. Yeah. Barrage was your spammable, and it was on a relatively short cooldown. So anyway, Barrage fires all charges and deals 50% damage to the target enemy per shot when activated. It stores up to 6 charges. So it has a potential, if you store those charges, to hit some pretty big damage. And then it also generates 1 charge every 3 seconds, additionally from weapon finishers. And that's pretty much it for that. There's a couple new abilities. One of the is another one of the reasons that I was talking about intrepid listening. Now, granted, they probably heard this long before the show that we just did on Rangers, and they made the changes to it. But we were talking about revamping the marks and the hunts, and they did that. It's kind of long, but I'll go into it here just real quick. So, Mark of the Tiger, Mark of the Bear, Mark of the Raven have been combined into a single ability called Mark Prey.
Wow.
And that will apply the Tiger, Bear, or Raven mark depending on what hunt you have active.
Oh.
So essentially like
they streamlined
they
it.
totally streamlined it, and that's what we were talking about, which
That's
is really cool.
Was that a hang up? I'm sorry to jump in. Was that a hang up for you as a Ranger? Like, did that stick out to you before the change?
Situationally. Okay. I would constantly have to change things situationally, to different marks and hunts depending on what I needed.
Got you. Interesting.
The one thing I didn't like is that they changed the Mark of the Bear, which is a mitigation debuff. They changed it from 25% to 15%. I'm like, that wasn't overpowered anyway. So yeah, that was a little weird. Okay. Another thing. So to Barrage, they've changed Barrage obviously to Salvo. And like, my question was, I didn't see Barrage as being too overpowered, but they moved it to a tier 2 learning tree ability, increased the cooldown. And it used to have a partial cooldown that would refresh with weapon combos, and they removed that. It used to trigger one of the armaments. They removed that. And then they removed another passive from it. So apparently Barrage was overpowered, which is why they changed it. Here's yet another example. And this is the last one I'll go over, but there's a bunch of stuff for Ranger. the last example of how they listen to the things we're saying is that Scattershot had that knockback that was super annoying at times. And I told the story in the show, but it literally would knock me off the edge when I wasn't paying attention, particularly at 2 a.m. when I was grinding levels and I was in the forge, and that thing would knock me into the lava. And I'd just be like, you want to talk about waking you up? That would wake me up like, oh shit, I'm in the lava. because the knockback from Scattershot would just knock me off the edge if I was too close. They removed it. They removed the knockback. Thank you, baby Jesus. They took it out. So anyway,
awesome.
Again, I'm split. I have a lot of work to do because I really want to see how these changes work. It's going to completely change rotations. Some of the other things that they did, it's going to bring Snipe back into an opening ability, which I'm super stoked about. Snipe should be a from camouflage opening ability that is worth it. And it really wasn't. I still used it because the animation was cool. And every once in a while you get a good crit, but it just wasn't there. And hopefully some of these changes are going to make that more viable as an opener.
Yeah.
So,
and
anyway.
And that's something I look forward to a week from now. Cause honestly, I really thought like next week we would do like our, the live at happy hour sort of thing where, the patrons submit questions, but it's definitely have to be a part 2 of this because the harsh realities, we're coming 2.5, 3 hours now off of the patch being released. And so a lot of this stuff we haven't even been really able to test yet. So I look forward to a week from now when we come back to this and we can really expound upon the rogue, when we can really expound upon how the ranger changes feel, because that's honestly, man, that feels like a whole updated class to me. When you're talking ranger updates.
Yeah.
If they're changing like your opening attacks and like what you want to do and dialing things in. First of all, that change where they changed the hunts and the marks.
Oh yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like you just don't need that kind of level of specialization. That just becomes bloat on your action bar. You're like, okay, let me go dial this in here and this in here. It's like, no, just put the freaking target on the guy. That's what I want. All right.
It's funny because the first thing I thought of is like, they've already surpassed World of Warcraft's 20-year history on giving the hunter/ranger class love. World of Warcraft like recently did it with a big change to their marksman spec, but for a long time, like that I was just used to that class getting completely ignored. And here we are with a major revamp of class systems based on feedback of the player. And you can say what you want. You can say that like our comments are fanboy or whatever. I don't care. Like you have to look at this for what it is, not just the ranger, not just that it's my class. In all of these other aspects of the game, they are paying attention to player feedback because they want us to play the game that we want to play without losing their initial vision. Yeah. And so far in an alpha phase, they're pulling this off.
Oh yeah.
And it's important to note as a fan, as a consumer of somebody who's going to be purchasing this game and investing in this game, it's very important to note the people are making it are watching and listening and making changes based upon player feedback.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, how many games, guys, we've played them, how long we've played them, how many various games we played where you feel as though like from a player base, you're an island to yourself and that you're not heard and that you're not, like feedback is said, but it's almost like I've seen companies go on stage and make fun of the players from the certain feedback that was given. Like that has also been a thing. It's just like, so going from things like that to things like this, where honestly, I am shocked to see such a big change to Ranger. Now, granted, I haven't really invested in Ranger too much, but the fact to see like, this is like an overhaul, like of this class. And it's great to see this kind of thing so early on and like you said, Cash, based off of feedback. And they've just done such a good job, like hats off to Intrepid, because this is just we've said it twice, 3-4 times already. This is too big for one episode. Like they did so much, man. They did so much. It's so good.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to, whenever they wipe, right? I'm looking forward to doing this again from a ground level, and really seeing how the class feels as you level the class and as you get these abilities, to see how that flow and that progression, that path feels.
Yeah.
And I want to provide feedback for that, because I think that's important. Right now, I'm going to be getting in and just testing these skills at a max level player,
right?
At a max level character. But I'm looking forward to the leveling experience again. I cannot believe I just said that. Looking forward to the grind again.
It was funny because I got the rogue and I was in Lionhold, and I come out and like there's all of those damn goblins that are like, there's like 1,000 goblins, and they're all just hurling themselves into the guards.
Sickly goblins.
The sickly goblins. And I'm like, should I get like a quest or something to kill these guys? And JB's like, well, what did you do last time? I was like, last time was like the first week 3 months ago. Like, I haven't played another character since then. So I cannot remember how to do all this stuff, but it is very, that's a very unique thing to RPGs, not to MMOs, but to RPGs, where you have the character start with the limited classic abilities, and that releasing of particular abilities in time and at what level is like, that is a huge decision point for developers, right? Like, when do we give them vanish? When do we give them, backstab? When do we give them some of these things? And like, from what I can tell, they give you like vanish like immediately, as well as backstab, which is kind of crazy to me. But like, that's kind of one of those things, like the developers have to decide that. In Warcraft, it's like some of them seem arbitrary, some of them seem very planned out. Like at level 8 you get this, and at level 13 you get this, and you're like, well, okay, could have used that like 5 levels ago, but I guess now I'm 13, so
right.
All right.
So let me throw this at you guys. This is we'll probably have to wrap soon, but let me throw this at you. So this was a brand new thing that was added. I had no idea this was going to be added. I don't think any of us had any idea this was coming, but a relic system has been added to the game. A node relic system, I'm sorry. So in short, what this is there is a chance that certain bosses and mobs will drop a relic that can be transported to a node by caravan. Some relics will require more investigation to discover. Once delivered to a node, the relic will appear to the node relic inventory and provide a buff to the node and or node zone of influence. Through the relic management menu, a mayor can activate or deactivate relics.
This sounds fascinating. The question that I have is, where does the caravan come from? Right? Like, what do you mean? Like, you drop it off a boss. Well, the boss isn't in town, and it's not in another town. So do you have to then bring a caravan to it?
I think you summon it.
I thought about this.
Okay.
If you're going to go out adventuring with a party, somebody needs to have a damn caravan.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? You have to have a caravan in your inventory. You might have to send somebody back to the node to launch the caravan within the circumference and bring the caravan out to pick that relic up.
That would be the worst. And come on now.
In that time period, you are going to have to defend. Now, granted, somebody else probably wouldn't be able to see when a relic drops. I would imagine it's a drop that somebody can pick up.
They could see an exceptionally slow-moving caravan approaching the dungeon, though. Couldn't you, for no good reason?
Couldn't you summon a caravan though? Like, that's why they have that item, and they showed that in the caravan stream, that you would just be able to use that item to summon it.
I assume that you could summon the caravan into that area for that purpose.
Yeah,
with a beacon. Gotcha. Maybe you just use a beacon and you can do it. But it'll be interesting to see how this. Even chat is saying beacon.
Oh yeah,
you can use a beacon to summon your caravan. So there you go.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anyone in the chat has actually accomplished this. That would be the next question, is like, do you know, or are you just guessing? Because our guesses right now are pretty horrible. Like the idea of like, hey, go build a caravan real quick in that town 57 minutes from here.
You're like, Did you bring the blocks?
The guy comes back with a horse, and he's like, "What was I supposed to do again? Jesus, get the caravan!
Get your horse."
I've been fighting 7 guilds for 40 minutes.
No, Frank, not your horse. Your horse is lame. Roger, go get yours. He's faster. And Chad says, so if Forge Lord Zammer in the depths of Befallen Forge drops one, do I go down with a caravan?
God,
I don't know, bro. Yeah. We're gonna find out. I guarantee you, it might become a guild thing. If one of those things drops, that might be like a, hey,
all hands
Black
on deck.
Talon, all hands on deck. We need help. We just had a drop. We need everybody here.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's a decent use of the emergency warning system, right?
And we will get everybody except for our crafters. They're like, no, I'm out, dude. I'm busy.
Right. Super busy. Sorry, I'm in Winstead. I got 300 ash lumber in the mill right now.
The way I dropped guild because we had 16 war declarations on us last week. Not even in the guild right now.
Yeah, they're not in the guild anymore. They're like, I was crafting and I got killed 9 times at this alchemy bench, so I left the guild.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That was easier than dying.
Yeah,
we know who you are.
I don't blame them.
Oh, I love that. We don't blame you. It's okay.
No, not at all. Well, okay, so a couple points of order. So before we wrap up, folks, for you tuning in, we're looking for feedback on 2 things. We're definitely coming back next episode for sure and talking about them. 1, Rogue. We know we already talked about it, but this is so very early, cannot be underlined enough here for us with this. And so this is something we're going to continue to test over the next week. And then also naval system in the game. Were you able to get on a ship? What are your thoughts on it? That sort of thing we're going to be talking about on the show. But before we go, Cash has got one more thing for us.
What are your thoughts on belly buttons, everybody? We want it in written form.
I want naval tattoo. Naval tattoo pictures. Send them to Cash.
Tattoo.
And your ankle pics.
I do have something that I need to bring up because I think it is super important. It is in the patch notes, and we were super stoked to see it. War declaration changes. This 100% affected us over the last few weeks, and I'm still of the opinion of if it's in the game, fine, good on you, you did it. But it did affect us, and it was super freaking annoying, and you know who you were, and you're on my freaking list. Anyway, war declaration changes. Guild leaders and mayors now
but they want to talk diplomacy with you too.
This is a live show. Guild leaders and mayors now have 3 charges to declare guild wars and node wars.
Dang it, son.
It takes 18 hours to replenish 1 war declaration charge, so choose wisely. And those are the words of the patch notes, not Cash. This was another example, yet another example of Intrepid listening to their community. We were not the only guild to have this issue.
Oh God, no.
A lot of other guilds had this issue, and I don't think it was just something that was going on our server. If there is something with the ability to do in the game that's not an exploit, it's part of the game at the current moment, you can guarantee that guilds are going to take advantage of everything. And that is what was happening. I'm not mad about it. It was annoying, but I'm not mad about it. It did affect our guild. But it did get changed. It got fixed because I think the developers saw that, this is an issue. They're not looking to drive people from their game. These are the types of things. Multiple war decks over and over and over and over and over. These are things that are going to make or break people playing the game or not. For me personally, it was a note that something that Black Talon Trading Company was doing got to somebody else. So to me, it's a little bit of a win. Like, guess we're on the radar. It happened. But it did affect some of our crafters. And like we were saying, like some of our crafters were doing some pretty high level stuff, so they dropped guild. I don't blame them for doing that, because, you know, it's not fun when you're in town and you spawn in and you have important stuff on you and you get smoked because somebody's just willy-nilly spamming the board and war decking everybody. So anyway, that was a huge change. I just wanted to mention it before we close, because that is yet another example of developers that are paying attention to what's going on out there, and we appreciate it.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. I think that one of the problems with it is that the people were getting killed in the middle of town with no repercussions. That was the part that bothered me the most. Not that the war declaration happened, but the fact that you could just be deleted in the middle of town and the guards would not even care. There was no repercussions to it. That is what I wanted. So this is a start, and I'm appreciative of it. And yes, they are definitely listening, but it's not enough. Like you have to prevent the player that's in the middle of town at a crafting station from getting deleted, because there's 3 guilds in 18 hours that have that potential to have happen to them. And if Black Talon has Black Talon 1, 2, and 3, and we just get 24 hours a day war decked on, and our people get smoked at crafting stations, it's not going to feel like much of an improvement. I can tell you that.
Well, the new guard system should handle that.
I hope so. Yes.
So yeah, that should be handling that issue. And, you know, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I know at the Ember Springs, it takes a little time for that to kick in, but I think there are safeguards that are coming in place that will prevent that kind of stuff in the future.
Yeah, I think this is great. I think it's a great addition. You know, it's taking that step to protect your player base. That's highly important for a game like this. That is kind of like we said a few episodes ago. There's some things in this game that's wide open, and other things that are not so much, you know, from like a system standpoint. And this is one of those things where, you know, you need to be able to protect your player base. And I agree with Sonny. This is definitely a good first step in that direction, you know, to really protect the general population of players and things that are kind of going on. Because, yeah, ultimately, you know, like that's not the desired gameplay loop for their player base, that they have to just leave guild just so they can't get attacked. Like,
yeah,
that's not, you know, and
if that's the solution, we're doing it wrong, right?
Well, I mean, like, and they know that too. They're like that's not, you know, the desired outcome. So I'm really interested to see how this continues to develop, because this is very much I think probably the very beginning of what's probably going to be a lot more additions and changes. So yeah, I look forward to seeing it. I'm glad you brought that up though, because that was a big deal. Big deal. For sure. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This was LoreForged, the podcast for Ashes of Creation. And if you enjoyed your time here, please take a moment, let us know how we're doing. It was fun listening to Sunny last episode do this portion of the podcast. That was fantastic.
Not great.
So funny. Go to your podcast app of choice, leave us a review, tell us how we're doing. We certainly do appreciate it. And of course, let us know in the comments below on YouTube. You can always email us, loreforgedhq@gmail.com. I'm going to go down to Sunny. Sunny, hi.
Hi, I'm Sunny. And now I'm going to talk to you about a website. A website that we have in a state that might someday be massively changed. We're in talks on stuff like that, so that who knows. We hope that someday we will be able to provide you with something really awesome there. You can also check us out, youtube.com/@LoreForged. I did a recent video on my series called Sunny Side Up, where I just kind of wake up and have coffee and answer a question from the happy hour from our Patreon, which is available at patreon.com/LoreForgedHQ. We have a happy hour channel, and I did a YouTube video that was pretty real. It was so real, I had to ask these guys whether or not I should, like, can you guys just watch this first to make sure this is okay to actually publish?
Send it.
And they were like, yeah, send it. So I sent it, and some of the comments from people were really enlightening. I think people really liked that kind of like sort of brutal honesty, but it was about online friends. So that's available there. Twitch.tv/LoreForgedHQ. We are going to always be streaming the shows live before they come out, usually like on a Wednesday or Thursday before the Monday release, but we also stream sometimes during the week. And so come join. It's a party. It's a good time. We love talking with the chat, and frankly, they make the show what it is. Cash.
You know, dude, I think it's important to bring this up. And yeah, I'll get to all my follow us on X and stuff BS here in a minute. But I think it's important to bring something like this up. This is more than a game to us. Of course, we love Ashes. Of course, we love covering Ashes. And of course, we love talking all the things each week about our gameplay experiences and our hopes and dreams for our dream MMO. But at the same time, we're trying to build community. We're trying to foster community and friendships and lifelong things here. Like, this is important to us. Yes, we're a little older gamers, and that's fine. But we've been around long enough to know that those things become very, very important in the gaming space, and they many times transcend a game. So when Sonny came up with his Sunny Side Up thing, and some of the episodes might talk a little bit about Ashes, but they talk a lot about life and the things that he's going through and things that he's experienced. Jibs and I are hugely supportive of that. And the reason being is because you get to know the person behind the mic talking about Ashes. That's important. So his last show might have gotten a little personal, a little heavy when it comes, or his last Sunny Side Up might have gotten a little personal, a little bit heavy about some experiences that we have had as content creators with friends and former friends, but they're real. That's my point. They're real. I'll leave it there. I don't want to get too much into it, but just know that, like, we love the game, we love our community, and we want to build friendships. We want you to know us, and that's why that's happening. Anyway, okay. With all of that, you can follow us on X at LoreForged HQ. You can follow us on Instagram at LoreForged HQ. And if you're interested in joining a really cool guild with really cool people and a growing community and truly trying to, pun intended, forge ahead at the things we're doing from now in these testing phases all the way through beta and all the way into launch and beyond, join our guild. We run the Black Talon Trading Company, and it's doing very well. We are a casual, all the way to hardcore PVX guild for parents and working professionals, which just means we're very flexible with your schedule. So we're always recruiting for PvE, PvP players and crafters and role players and all the things that you want to do. We have it all here in LoreForged. Our role play is going to start coming up, I promise. Anyway, I want to welcome to the community over the last week, Rain, Concepts, Higurashi, Rainbow Wizard, Calamity, and just today, Fallthorn and BRN. Welcome to Black Talon Trading, and welcome to the LoreForged community.
Friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful week in gaming, and we will be back here next week for part 2, breaking down these notes and talking all the things Rogue especially. We love you. Have a great week. Take care.
Peace, love, and honeybees.
Safe travels, adventurers.